Isle of Skye is a famous tourist destination in Scotland and it's been on my list for a while. But this Easter break I finally got a chance to visit it, thanks to my friends who took me on a trip with their motorhome. It's about 5 hours drive from Edinburgh to Isle of Skye. We started late and we also stopped in Perth to see the dam. That's why we decided to sleep in Fort William and then on the next day to continue our way to the island. It was 3 of us, humans, and 1 dog. His name is Gomesh and he is a cute mix of Staffie and Spanish podenco. He is a featured star of this video and you're going to see him a lot. The coolest thing about traveling in a motorhome is that you can sleep everywhere. Of course, if there is no overnight parking restrictions there. And our first night we slept just under Ben Nevis, and in the morning we saw all these people who are going to climb the highest peak of Scotland. And honestly, I was a little bit jealous because I would like to do that as well. But well, next time. Now our goal is Isle of Skye. So it was our first night in the caravan. We survived. It was actually warm. Even outside it was like 0 degrees or 2 degrees or so. And inside it was warm and cozy. So there is our caravan here. We had our breakfast in the camper and went to look for a coffee to Fort William. That's a small and very mountaineer-oriented city. They call it outdoor capital of Scotland. And it's full of shops with mountain equipment and outdoor clothes. And even the place where we sat to drink coffee was a church converted into climbing center. So mountains everywhere. And by the way, coffee is nice and I highly recommend this place. After Fort William we headed to Skye. And we stopped here and there for different viewpoints just to take a couple of pictures. And for a longer stop we were at Donan Castle. I hope I pronounced it right. This castle is pretty big and well maintained, but we didn't go in because, you know, after you've been to few of them, they basically look all the same. And it was definitely nicer from outside than inside in this amazing weather. It was like 16 degrees and sunny. It's like a real Scottish summer. The parking by this castle is paid, but it has nice facilities, cafe, toilets, so that's a good place to stop and refresh yourself. Our next stop was Isle of Skye. We stopped in the first city after the bridge. We wanted to find a place to sit and have some food or drink, but nothing was working, everything was just shut down, and this is something that happened with us in Isle of Skye a lot. Some places just don't work, or they are all fully booked, or they just don't serve food and close after 6 or 7 p.m. So if you're going to Skye, you have to plan your meals in advance or have a few pots of noodles in case of emergency. So we just played a bit with Gomesh on the grass and moved to our next stop. By the way, it's much easier to find a place to drink rather than to eat on Isle of Skye. There are plenty of pubs with local beers and whiskies, but if you want to eat, it's a bit harder. But there was always an option for us to have a dinner in the motorhome, and God bless Co-op, it worked till 11 p.m. So we always could get some pizza and pasta and cook it just in our motorhome. There are so many motorhomes at Skye, and that's not surprising with the prices starting at £200 for a night. It's much cheaper to sleep in the motorhome. You can park everywhere, or you can go to a campsite if you want to empty your tanks or have a shower. You just pay £10 for a person if you want to stay there and enjoy the comfort. And the money that you saved on your accommodation you always can spend in the pubs. And prices in pubs and restaurants are slightly more expensive than in mainland, but they are almost the same as in Edinburgh, so we didn't have financial shock. The Isle of Skye is famous for its spectacular landscapes. Mountains with the shape of pyramids, red in the sunset, or quirky rock formations, amazing beaches and coastline with ocean waves. There are beautiful beaches and hikes, both to be enjoyed in a good weather of course, but sometimes you don't get to choose. The island looked bigger when I looked at it at the map, but de facto it's very small, and these viewpoints they are literally 5 minutes away from each other. So sometimes it's even getting annoyed that you have to get into the car, put your seatbelt on, drive 3 or 5 minutes, and then you have to go out again to see another amazing view. Honestly, at some point my brain just got overstimulated, and all these stops for me became just like yet another viewpoint. We mostly explored the east coast of Isle of Skye, but we also drove to Uig. That's a village on other side of Isle of Skye, with a port where you can get on a ferry and go to Isle of Harris, for example. The ferry is pretty expensive. It's more than £100 return if you want to get there with a motorhome. So we decided not to go this time, to leave it for next vacation maybe, but in general that's also a quite interesting destination. The Uig itself didn't impress me so much. It was very windy and cold, and also we arrived there at dinner time, but we couldn't find a place to sit again. Everything was closed, and the pub that was open, they refused us even to serve some chips with our beer. My impression from this city that it's not very welcoming for tourists, especially if they don't have reservation in their hotels. Another town on the island is Portree. That's the biggest one, with a population around 2,000 people, and this is a kind of a capital of Isle of Skye. And that's the right place if you want just to grab a pint and chill in the pub. It also has all the advantages of civilization. It has a hospital, it has a pharmacy, a big supermarket, even a garage where we managed to fix our tire. We got a puncture, and one of our tires started to lose pressure, so we had to pump it every day in the morning before we were going somewhere. And it's kind of annoying and not safe. But we got lucky in Portree, and they fixed our tire just for like 28 quid or so, and the new tire would cost us 200 at least. So we were pretty happy with it. There is also an amazing bakery in Portree. It's called Mackenzie Bakery, and it is situated just in the very center near the police station. The prices are not touristy, and it offers you freshly baked bread, sweets, pastries, everything what you can wish for breakfast with your coffee. Another nice place just outside of Portree, we even visited twice. This is an Isle of Skye Candles Visitor Center. These candles are quite popular all over Scotland, and you can even buy them in Edinburgh as a souvenir if you're coming here for vacation. And I have a few of them at home as well, because they really smell nice. So we got to this visitor center, and this is quite a big one, and it has not just a souvenir shop but also a restaurant and can you imagine, a cinema. Another thing that we really appreciated in this visitor center is its clean and nice toilets. It becomes especially important when you're traveling with a van and sleep in a tent or a camper. So yeah, we really enjoyed this place. Also, the menu wasn't bad. It had like 9 pizzas and different toasties and paninis and even one salad. It may not sound very interesting for people from the big cities, but for such small and remote place, it's pretty good. And another good thing is that this place is dog friendly. You can bring your dog inside in the restaurant and sit with it together. Actually, most of the pubs and restaurants on Skye are dog friendly. Many of tourists are traveling with their dogs. Only one place on Skye near Uig was not dog friendly. Otherwise, it was a nice place with a seafood. It's called the Gallery. We had an amazing seafood there. It is a bit expensive though, so we only got starters. But if you like seafood, then that's must visit and you're gonna enjoy it for sure. Yeah, these langoustines with garlic sauce were delicious. Okay, enough about gastro-tourism here. We not just ate there, we also walked and saw all the different amazing places. And now I'm going to tell you about them. First we stopped in Sligachan area, the area with these magical pyramid mountains, and we saw the old Sligachan bridge And also we had a little picnic in the valley surrounded by these peaks. The weather was really nice, so we just took out our chairs and sat in the sun, flew drone, played with dog, and just literally enjoyed the weather. We also got stuck in the swamp at that area when we were trying to find a place to spend the night. One side of our camper got stuck in the wet soil and we barely managed to get out. We got stuck and we just got unstuck. Woohoo! Well, this time we were lucky and it was a happy end, but for the future now we know to be more careful because the camper is heavier than normal car and it's better not to risk with the off-road. The night next after this adventure we decided to sleep in Sligachan camping because it was the middle of our trip and we were willing to have a shower and refill our water tanks and empty the dirty water. So we stopped there and it costed us just like £10 per person. They have there a little cafe, they have toilets, showers and amazing view of course. The showers are pretty good, they were really hot and the water pressure was good, much better than in my shower at home, to be honest. Another place that we visited is Old Man of Store walk. This walk takes around 40 or 45 minutes one way and that's very beautiful. The main highlight of this walk is a big basalt rock of volcanic origin that looks like it's gonna fall anytime with a strong gust of wind, but it is still there. And the walk itself is not very difficult, it takes like 40 or 45 minutes one way, so even kids and pets can easily do that. And you'll get to enjoy amazing views to the valley, to the ocean and even to the Isle of Ramsey. That is, by the way, a place where they make my favorite whiskey. And you also can get a ferry and go to this island, and it's much cheaper than Isle of Harris. It's like 38 or 40 pounds return ticket for the motorhome, but we didn't go there this time. Yeah, that is something that we can do in future trip. Another hiking trail we took is a Scory Break trail. It starts in Portree and it is a circular route near the bay of Portree, where you can also enjoy a nice views to the city and to the ocean. The views are pretty and not many people you will meet there, especially in the working day. But be careful if you are going there with a dog. We almost lost Gomesh when he was chasing the sheep that are escaped from the place where they should be. Happily they started running uphill, so Gomesh got tired and came back to us. But yeah, if you're visiting Isle of Skye with a pet, especially a dog, you should be careful because there are plenty of free-range animals there. Cows, sheep, horses, rabbits, everyone. And the dog can be highly interested in them and start chasing them. That is not good for both animals and the dog. So be careful, keep your dog on a leash if you're not sure what's ahead. We also stopped in many viewpoints along the coastline. Honestly, I don't remember the names of all of them, but the most spectacular one was Kilt Rock. It's a huge waterfall going down to the ocean. And the place itself is so windy that when you're trying to look at it or film it, you're getting all this experience of crazy wind and sea drops going into your face. But believe me, the view itself definitely worth it. Another nice place not that far away is Brothers Point. It is a short, maybe 10-15 minutes walk from the parking down to the coast. And it can be enjoyed as well with the pets or kids because the beach has plenty of interesting stuff, stones, shells, seaweed, and of course if it's windy, and in Scotland it's windy most of the time, you're gonna get this amazing view of huge ocean waves hitting the rocks. We also discovered a very interesting, magical place when we were looking for food, the Flodigari Hotel. It looks like a fairy tale place. It's a villa hidden in a magic forest, and both exterior and interior are amazing. The place is a bit pricey though if you want to stay there. One night is about £270. But if you don't want to stay there and just want to have a dinner or grab a pint, that's a nice place to go. Unfortunately, when we arrived there, they didn't serve any food or drinks because they had some kind of maintenance, but for the future I will remember this place. Another thing to see on Isle of Skye is a fairy glen. It is not a real glen though. Glen means a forest in Scotland. This is more of a series of cone-shaped hills with lakes and rare trees. Yes, the landscape is quite unusual, but we didn't really enjoy it that much because the wind was so strong and cold that we barely could walk. Yeah, the weather is a game changer. It was so good in the beginning of our trip, but then dramatically changed, so we had to skip few places where we initially were going to go. Yeah, that is something that happens in Scotland pretty often, so you always have to have a plan B in case of such disgusting weather. On the way back from the island, we wanted to sleep on the cemetery parking. Well, why not? That's gonna be quiet and nice. But unfortunately there were overnight parking restrictions, so we had to move on and sleep in the small town called Kyle. We found a spot there on the pier next to the otter statue. Can you imagine someone to make an otter statue? Why? I don't know. But anyway, it was nice and quiet place as well, with beautiful views to the bridge and to the lighthouse. And there were a nice local pub nearby. What else one can desire? On the way back, we drove through Glencoe. That's also a quite popular touristic place in Scotland. A beautiful mountain range, very dramatic with snowy peaks. We also stopped at the viaduct where the Jacobite steam train or Hogwarts Express usually passes. Usually it passes there twice a day, in the morning at 9 AM and in afternoon at 3 PM. But unfortunately that day it was cancelled, so we just saw the bridge that is actually beautiful enough on its own. As a summary of a trip, I really enjoyed it, and especially I enjoyed the freedom that motorhome gave us. We could go everywhere without planning an accommodation, and we could sleep just for the price of the fuel. By the way, I still don't know how much we spent for fuel, it is still to be calculated, but anyway, I think I had quite big expectations about Isle of Skye because of the way it is advertised, like some just magically amazing place. Yeah, it is amazing, and the landscape is very different from the mainland, especially from England where everything is desperately flat. But honestly, I expected more and it seemed a bit small to me, and it became a bit boring at some point. It is not so impressive as they try to show it in the ads, or at least not in April maybe. If I plan a trip next time, I wouldn't do it for a week. I would probably give it 3 days and would spend the rest of my vacation on other islands. It also seems to me that accommodation on Isle of Skye is really overpriced. 200 or 300 pounds for a night, isn't it too much, even for an island? And surprisingly, most of the places had no vacancies signs, means they are fully booked. Honestly, I don't know who books it for this price, who are all these rich people. So if you're going there, I strongly suggest you to go with a tent or a camper or something in the middle, like a tent box on the roof of your car. You'll save a lot of money. And anyway, I truly enjoyed this trip, made some fun memories, and I'm not regretting about timing or weather, because Scotland is so beautiful in any seasons and in any weather conditions.